Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, Shoma, you're muted.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Month, and welcome to the first learning session of the AEHRP for 2024. So we're going to have an amazing experience today. We have a facilitator that will be taking us through managing workforce planning and data analytics for organizational efficiency. So I would like us to quickly reach out to one or two persons that are also meant to be on this call, because I see quite a lot are still coming on the call. A very big thank you to our global president for this opportunity, and also the board of trustees, the management committee, and the entire EHRP members for being the mentor, the anchor for today. Yeah, so we have someone amongst us that is going to be taking us through the session, Mr. Olarinwaju Abiodun Wihem. Yes, he's going to be our facilitator for today. So I'm going to be sharing my screen to share a brief profile about him. I'm trying to do that. So just in case it doesn't pop up on my screen. So I'm going to be reading out his profile. Olarinwaju Wihem holds a bachelor's degree in statistics from the prestigious University of Ibadan and a master's degree, MBA in human resources management from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He's also a full member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, and he's also an accredited management trainer by the Nigeria Council for Management Development. And he holds a certification from IFC LPL. Yeah, so Olarinwaju is about 2 decades. He has about 2 decades postgraduate experience cutting across the healthcare, consulting, financial services, constructions, and FMCG sector of the economy. And is also an experienced practicing human resources professional. So you should see what we have in store for every one of us is well equipped. He has a passion for excellence, bringing out the best out of people. He has experience as an human resources professional in people management. He has mentored over 1,000 prestigies and still counting. Olarinwaju has served in various capacities, including but not limited to member, public policy, and advocacy committee for Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Wow, for 2 consecutive years. That's between 2018 to 2020. He's currently the chairman of learning and programs for the Association of Helites Human Resources Professionals, among others. He's currently the Director of Learning and Capacity Development with this same association. So you can see that he's someone that has been in the system for quite a long period of time. He's happily married with kids, and he enjoys his pastime playing musical instruments or watching football. So at this point in time, I would like us to sit back, bring our writing materials, and see how we are going to take quick notes on the teachings we're going to get from him as he take us through managing workforce planning and data analytics for organizational efficiency. So many of us will have questions for him at the end of the training. Yes, so I'd like us to kindly write them down. You could signify by putting the emoji and signal to state that you have a question for him, or you could take the option of writing it on the chat box. So we could read it out and then you will attend to your question. So at this point in time, I would like Mr. Olarinwaju to please take on the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Choma. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to put in my video. Okay, so good evening, everyone, once again. With all those stuff that she read, it's, should I say, it's putting me on my toes. You know, that all those things that she's read is putting me in trouble. But let's see how it goes this evening. So I'm also using this opportunity to wish us Happy New Year, because as an association, I think this is the first learning session we're having this year. So you're welcome to another year, which we expect a lot to happen in this association. Please confirm you can see my screen. I just need to confirm that before I close. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. Without wasting much time, because I still need, after this session, I need to hop into a class. I have a class that's ongoing, but I have an assessment that I need to take in between. So I will quickly dive into this. So today we're looking at managing workforce planning and data analytics for organizational efficiency. And I look at this topic on top of my head. This like combining two, it's like a two-in-one topic. We want to look at workforce planning, we want to look at data analytics. Of course, I think we've had something on data analytics in the past, but because of the complexity of the two topics, I'll just try to speak to the two within the time allocated to me. And so, so this is our outline. We'll look at introduction to strategic workforce planning. What are the fundamentals of data analytics in HR, proactive workforce shaping strategies, transformational potential of data analytics, integrating HR workforce planning. We'll look at some KPIs for workforce efficiency, and then we will conclude. Okay. Now, these are the takeaway that I expect that at the end of the day, we should be able to understand or develop proficiency in workforce planning and apply strategic techniques in aligning HR functions with organization goals effectively. Then we should be able to apply data analytics in HR decision-making by interpreting and leveraging data insight. We should also be able to identify and address skill gaps. And then we'll also be able to make data-driven, or should I say informed decisions, data-driven decisions. Okay, so it's been long we've been here. Can we just bring up our phone, or while we're, I'm sure you're on advices, let's just log into this Kahoot.it. I just want us to do something there. Just the whole essence is that I want to see where we are vis-a-vis this topic. So I will need all of us to do that, please. www.kahoot.it. Quickly, please. Please confirm you can still see my screen, please. Just put it in the chat. Yes, that is it, www.kahoot.it. So if you are there, it's going to request for a pin, which you will see shortly. Can you see it? Can you see my screen? That's the pin. So if you, then you can put your ID. Let's do that quickly. The whole essence is that I just want to have some understanding of a few things about this topic.
Sorry, Larry, I can't see the pin. What's the pin?
604-2278.
604-2278.
2278, yes. Okay, somebody has even put it in the chat. I was trying to put it there. 604, so yes, that's the pin. I can see CM, Debbie, yes, Louis, BO. Great, great, great. So confirm everybody is there so that I'm not leaving anybody behind. Is anybody still joining? I have just 20 people and I feel we are much more than that on the call. Are we ready? Is there anyone? So, am I given the permission to proceed? I will just wait 10 more seconds. Five more seconds. Okay, we go. Please, can you mute your microphone if you are not speaking? That's something we hold in high esteem here. Chine. Okay. Okay.
Please, they are requesting for nickname.
Put your nickname there now. Any nickname, you just put it there. But I'm so sure some people have started. Okay. All right. I should proceed. Well, master is coming up, OCM. Okay, so I think we're going for the last one, the final one now. Okay. Congratulations to K, CM, and BO. While I go back to my slide, please confirm you can see my slide. I would like to, who are those people? Can you just type your full name on? I just want to see your full name. So who is the K? I want to know. Kemi Lawal, is that you?
Yes, I'm the one.
You
I
said
didn't see the questions. I didn't see the questions or options, so I was just picking any color.
So you are not the winner then. Okay, so the whole essence of the question, if you look at the first thing I asked that what is management, because the topic is saying that we are managing workforce planning, and everything that was in that short quiz, or should I say game, It's just about what we want to discuss this evening. And whether we are correct or not, we'll get to see the answers to those things as we go along. I can tell you the answer from this point of view because I'm the examiner, as it were, and because also I set it, and because in the course of my preparing, I was able to actually get answers. Not that because I know better than you guys, anyways, because we are colleagues. All right. So I said, according to Indeed.com, management is the coordination and administration of tasks to achieve a goal. Okay. Now, if you're somebody like me, when we started this management journey, they told us that management is about 4 things. And that's, I think the acronym I used for it was POLC. And you will see part of the question when I say it's about planning, it's about organizing, it's about leading, and it's about controlling. So, and that's why I asked that, well, what is management? That I say, is it this? So you see that, you see those elements there. So, but planning itself, remember we are talking about workforce planning here. So I'm trying to actually bring down, to actually talk about the topic so that we're understanding what we are talking about. Planning itself, it involves a lot of things like who will do what, what is to be done, when is to be done, how, and where. So now, if I now say workforce planning is the process of analyzing workforce supply and demand and making adjustments as necessary to meet business needs and goals. So as HR professionals, no matter workforce planning we do, if it's not in tandem with business goals and objectives, we are failed. So well, no matter solutions I devise, no matter position you devise, if it's not speaking to the strategic goals and objectives, there's nothing. So it's about meeting the business needs and goals, and that's critical. And then I said data analytics is a broad term that includes everything from simply analyzing data to theorizing ways of collecting data and creating frameworks needed to store it. Now, what that tells you is that now I'm answering, as I'm saying this thing, I'll also be answering the question well on the course of this thing. Meaning, data analysis is actually a subset of data analytics. So data analytics is multidisciplinary. It's something that's across so many fields, and that's why you see even researchers, they do data analysis, they do data analytics. So it's not just for HR alone. That's one thing I want us to know. And it's involves a lot of subjects. You can see an element of statistics, an element of mathematics, an aspect of computer science in it. So, but you draw insight from data. Then the time efficiency, I said it refers to peak level performance. Now, the word peak means that that's the best that's the height that it can reach, that performance can reach. So it's not about just performance. It's about peak level performance that uses minimum inputs to achieve the highest amount of output. So efficiency, it implies that you will reduce the number of unnecessary resources, or you eliminate waste, you things that are not required, you take them out. So that means you make best use of your time and energy. And so this is what the topic is talking about, that, okay, we want to analyze the workforce so that we plan workforce for our organization. Vis-a-vis, we want them to, so that there is no waste. If we need to have, let's say, we will get optimal performance from 10 employees, we should not have 12. And it also means that in coming out of our plans, we must have analyzed data that is data that will determine the kind of plan we put forward. This is all we are talking about this evening. Now, during the course of this week, CIPM, in which our global president is part of that team, came up with a result. They call it HR Practice Needs Survey Report for 2024. Now, I picked something from that report as I was going through it during the week. It said 42% of total respondents indicated that HR strategic planning constitutes their greatest need for 2024. Now, somebody will ask me, what has HR strategic planning got to do with what we are talking about this evening? We are talking about workforce planning. So, but I want to understand that when I saw that and something clinged with me in that, I said, no, workforce planning is an essential step required to deliver positive outcomes for HR department. So invariably, workforce planning should be linked to strategic HR planning. So if a lot of people are thinking about HR strategic planning, then, and workforce planning is something that is one of the tools that you can use, you also use to talk to it. then it is expedient we talk about this thing. That's just the reason I brought in this. So I brought in that subject. Now, there are two sides to workforce planning. There's what we call the hard workforce planning, and there's the other aspect that we talk about, soft, or we call it strategic workforce planning. And let me start from the strategic workforce planning. It actually is all about defining your strategy. What do I want to do? How do I want to go about it? And which framework will I use? Which information can I access? What can I do to actually increase emphasis on agility response? So it's all about your strategy. But the hard workforce planning is about numbers, meaning when you take numbers, it's numerical. How many people do I need in this particular department? What level of skills will I need in this area? And what type of skills are likely to be needed because as we move from point A to point B. So it's all about numbers. So, and if you now look at it, if the hard part is all about numbers, and if somebody whose microphone is on, please kindly mute your microphone. Someone's. Okay, so I think I've taken care of that. Now, I was trying to say that if the hard side of it is talking about numbers, and meanwhile, we have all agreed from our topic that we want to combine workforce planning with HR data analytics. You can see that we're already going in the same direction, even from the workforce planning itself. So you cannot do workforce planning without working with data from within the organization. Okay, so if you want to achieve, and that's why we always say that you don't just take something from one organization and go and dump on an organization, hook, like, and sinker. What if the numbers from that particular organization is not the same with yours? And this is why we must be agile with our responsiveness. Now, if you want workforce planning, there are steps that we will talk about. And number one is ascertain the strategic direction. When I say ascertain the strategic direction, where is my organization going? What are the objectives of the organizations? What's our business plan? What are the indices that we want to look at? Okay, by the time we have achieved so, we will say, oh, we have met our objective, or we've met our target, or we've reached our goals, we've reached our destinations. What are those things? So you must be able to establish the KPIs for your organization, the objective, the business plan. And then in that analysis, you remember that company vision is always ahead. What we want to achieve is ahead. It's not what we have at the moment. And because of that, you also look at it in reviewing, in our ascertaining that strategic direction. Okay, what are the specific talents that we require for us to get there? What are likely to change in between where we are now and that future we see? Are we likely to see, as from HR point of view, are there likely to be exits? Are there likely to be, okay, we'll growth, there will be growth, or maybe internally, okay, want to push forward by virtue of training and all, because they've learned through the system. So you will understand your specific things that are specific to organization. It is very critical. Once you ascertain that, then you can start. The moment that is not ascertained, then you cannot go ahead, because what you are proposing, what your plan might not be meeting the needs. So it is expedient you understand where your organization is going. Now, second, I said, conduct a supply and demand analysis. Now, I'm going back to one of the questions on that survey again. Remember, I said which one will come first? I put a workforce supply analysis, workforce demand analysis. Now, even though I've put everything together here, there are two different things. Supply analysis in workforce planning comes before demand analysis. Of course, in our elementary economics, we always say demand and supply. We always talk about demand, but in this instance, it's different, and I'll tell you why. Because the organization, even if it's a startup, that, okay, you are just starting up. At the moment you are starting up, you are in a position. So you understand what is the supply of your current, what's your current workforce that you have. That's the supply that you have. Then, because you have where you are going, That's the demand. So the first thing is, okay, where are we? That's what supply analysis is talking about. Analyze your current workforce, their capabilities, compare that, then you now compare that with current business needs, vis-a-vis the success you are seeing. Okay? Now, when you do that, then you can now move. Okay, what will be our future needs? Because we have said, okay, on this our production line, yeah, we're going to automate the process. So maybe some roles will go away, and then we want to move in this direction. So because of the future, that okay, it might be short term, maybe 2 years, might be long term, medium term 5 years, long term 10 years. You do that. Okay, these are the objectives that we see. Then you do demand analysis because of we are moving from point A to point B. What will be required? So and you look at so then when you are looking at that, that's when you can say, okay, because we are bringing in new technology, there's a tendency for we need new skills, or those new skills, do we want to train them internally, or do you want to, or we want to get them? So you look at that. And so between your demand and your supply analysis and your demand analysis, a gap is created. And so once you identify the gap, then you look at that gap in terms of skills, knowledge, and so you will look at that. Okay, future roles are likely to need greater technology and digital awareness, things like that. So you look once you look at that, then you come to a common point. You extract that, and based on that, you develop an action plan. Oh, because of this gap, okay, maybe we have to offer developmental program within the house to grow people to the level, or maybe you want to outsource it, or even you want to do gig economy, you can work in elsewhere you work for us. You develop and implement solutions with which you want to do that. And then once you have done that, that solution is your action plan. And your action plan must have the functional, numerical, and adaptational flexibility. Why do we say this? Because when your workforce is not agile, you won't be able to adapt to change. Because so you must make it. It must be flexible. And then once you have done that, your solutions, you monitor it. You monitor it every time, because there could be need for you to evaluate, okay, and maybe correct some, make some correction, develop and agree on some setup. So you must do it. And one thing I should say here is that it is expedient that you develop and agree on set of actions with everybody that needs your support, that needs to be carried along, so to support your plan. And managers will seek their regular reviews of outcome and things, and in that order. Okay. Now, implementing workforce planning. Everyone that you think that should, all stakeholders that you know that you will need on that journey must align. So that implies that a collaborative approach is very vital. You must ensure that everyone is carried along. You get their buy-in, get their support. It needs wide-ranging consultation with stakeholders to enable all parties to agree and understand the rationale for the actions being taken. Otherwise, somebody out there in another can just frustrate you. So, align everyone. Secondly, ensure clear allocation of and understanding of responsibilities, because HR will not do everything. So, within the team, within the parties, let knows who does what. And that's why you call it management. I say in management, you say we know who, what is to be done. So it is very clear. So that there's a saying that we used to that I learned a long time ago. But I think we should all know that what belongs to everybody belongs to nobody. If you don't say this is who will do this, there's a tendency that somebody will leave you and say, oh, I expect that somebody will do it, and Shade will have done it. Oh, but Akpan didn't do it. So let's be clear who does what. Okay, so provide support for managers. Remember that this plan is being done by HR. There's a tendency with all other processes, maybe they don't understand it. So line managers, we need your support from people, professionals, and others to fulfill their responsibilities. If you have assigned things to them, you must help them. You must prepare them in terms of the skills and understanding so that they'll be able to participate fully as expected. Otherwise, you will not get the right thing. if you need to actually let people know about, okay, if they need skills to interpret data, maybe to help people collect data, you have to let them understand, okay, that's so if you have to bridge gap for them by maybe taking them through short courses or what you need to, it has to be done. Provide support for them so that your output is of quality. Okay. Then review and capture learning. When I say review and capture learning, I'm talking about there should be clear and robust mechanisms to review and capture what is being done. And so that if there is, let's assume that, okay, there is a learning curve or something that we need to take away so that we review it, let that process be in place. So that evaluation criteria will depend on the objectives that we should have set from the beginning. All right. And then finally, if everything you have done, you must protect the data. You must protect what you have. Because remember, when you are doing workforce planning, it's about data that you have collected. So you want to protect your data such that you don't want to lose everything. Without the data, you cannot move forward to plan. So what we're saying is that this allows snapshot of workforce composition at the same data each year. So be sure that you have relevant workforce data regarding joiners, leavers, movers, maybe even as simple as maybe this part of the year, people go on leave, things like that. Such data that you will know that you need for you to plan. Make sure you have a record for them. Otherwise, you will find yourself wanting along the line. Now, methodology in workforce planning. And in this one, what I was talking about, we're talking about what is called 7 rights. 7 rights of workforce planning. That's what we're talking about when we say methodology. There are 7 rights that are expedient in your workforce planning. That while you are planning, you must think of. And the premise of workforce planning is to create a balanced approach where 7 rights of workforce planning are working together. And the issue about this right is that they are intertwined. Not that it's not the way it is that they move concurrently. You will see in my next slide. So getting these elements in harmony is not something that you just feel like it's a cut and paste, as it were, but it needs specific tailoring for each organization depending on the makeup. Now, what are the 7 rights? Number 1, I will talk from the one that is in the center, right capability. That's when we are talking. So your workforce plan is about this and that. Okay, when we say right capability, that what we are saying is that within your system, you have the right skills, you have the right knowledge, you have the right attitude at every point in time that is required. So it's one of the rights you must know. Then you have the right shape. You know, when they are talking about organogram, at times they will say, Charles, you work also. So are you sure the structure in place, is it right for your organization? You have to say, if because of what we are going, will it be okay for this person to report to this thing, the right reporting line, or for this one to move to this way, or without the dotted line? So you must ensure that you have the right structure. That's what right shape is talking about. Now, right size. Earlier ago, I talked about if you need to have 8 people to be optimal, then why do you have 10? So if for that function to actually be optimal, for a department to be optimal, if it's 10 people that will be required and you have the best output, why do you put 7 or 6 there? So you must know the right size for every department or every whatever you call it. So you must think of right shape, right capability, right size. Then I said right location. Adventure, maybe you are a multinational or maybe multi-regional or whatever. Now, do you think that, okay, the moving that person or that part of the system to that location, is it the right? Much more, if you want to transfer a staff from, let's say, from point A to point B, are you thinking is the right location for that staff vis-a-vis maybe where the staff is saying? So you must think of right location. You must kind of right time. Is it the time? Is it the appropriate time to do this? Or will it be the best time? Or we should, so you must think of that also. Right cost. Remember, when we talk about efficiency, we talk about, okay, having the best output with minimal input. So you don't want to blow stuff. You don't want to inflate your cost. You don't want to bring unnecessary cost in it. So it must have the right cost. And finally, we talk about right risk. The risk of not having the appropriate workforce with the right skills. When the workforce, when you don't have the right the required skills at the right time, it's a risk. So, but is it a risk that is right? So these 7 rights, we must think of it when we are thinking about workforce planning. They are very, very. Okay, thank you. That has been taken care of. So I've been talking about workforce planning. So I'll just a bit go into the aspect of the data analytics. Now, like I established earlier, that data analysis is a subset of data analytics, but HR data analytics is all about analyzing HR data to make informed decisions, to guide our organizations, and also the pattern, and so to make sure we start. That's all about it, and that's why you see where we talk about creating dashboards. But I'm not going into all those nitty-gritty of that because I know data analysis or a course on itself, and because of the limited time I have, so I will not be dwelling so much in that. But like I said in layman's term, HR analytics measure the successes and failures of how well the organization is performing when it comes to employees. It's just like a tool that you can use to say, okay, because of this, for example, you want to say attrition rate, you can see how you are doing. Once you measure the rate, you see that, okay, that means you're not faring well, like that. Because of this week, I shared something, I did, maybe at least 2 persons on this call will see. I got an invite for an interview, and when I saw the email, I just laughed because there has been a feedback regarding the organization, and so I just sent an email back to them that, okay, sorry, I won't be able to come. I didn't say I won't be able to attend this. I didn't say I won't be able to attend the interview. I said I won't be able to continue with this interview process. Now I'm the one terminating now, and I told them, I said, based on the feedback I got from the organization. Now that's the data. So you understand? So we use data to make decisions. So, and I'm also letting us that the synonyms you can use for HR data analytics could be something like, can you just say ordinary data, HR data, people analytics, workforce analytics, talent analytics. They are all buzzwords that you can use vis-a-vis data analytics. So now, what are the types of data available in HR? We can see demographic data. What's our age composition? Oh, we have millennials, we have Gen Zs, we have baby boomers, all that. So all those ones, you understand. We can have data around pay and benefits, depending on. So you can say this is the salary range for people and so on. So there are data around our benefits. There are data around engagement. So you understand how, so there are data that you can measure applicant tracking system through your recruitment process. Maybe you have 8 years that you use. There are data you can get there. Around performance, you have data there. Recruitment and onboarding, there are data everywhere that you can use. So what we're saying is that tap into this data while you're trying to prepare to plan your workforce. There's going to be there areas you get insights. Now, why is HR data analytics important? It helps us provide better insight and overall management to people. There are things that we actually. All right, thank you. Now, I tell people that for us HR professionals, there are data everywhere that we don't even tap into. That we don't tap into. During the course of this week, in my office, me and my colleagues, so there was the data that I was just telling. I look at the data. This around compensation anyway. Was it this week or last week? So, and when I saw the report, and based on, I just asked a few questions and I talk. And based on that, we were able to come to a conclusion that there is an area we can plug holes. Are you getting me? Just by looking at that data. So data helps us to provide better insight and overall management to people. It helps us in spotting high performance employees and the laggards. If we don't do performance appraisal, our employees, we don't take records, we won't be able to know who is performing or who is not performing. So it's expedient. It helps us in doing that. It helps us in having the right data, helps us provide legal protection on employee-related issues. If you terminate somebody without normal, maybe the normal process, like, okay, you have issued a query, you've done first auditing level, you don't have all the data information. If you terminate an employee and there's a legal implication, you are not able to protect yourself. So having as simple as those query, first reading warning, all those ones, they are data that you can use. That's why you see that when people go to lockup, they will say they will need evidence. And that's what wins. That is those evidences that win cases. You might be sure you have a good case at hand, but because you don't have the right evidence, you don't have something you can present, and then the other party will win you. So it is expedient we have the right. So when we have the right data, we are sure that we are protected from, we have legal protection. It helps HR professionals create business case for HR interventions. I remember when I was in one organization, somebody told me, this is one of the management team that will attend management, he said before you came, there is only the CFO that comes with data. So when I'm going for management meeting, what I would just do, I will have, other than another report, I will have done some graph that I want to use to talk to some things. And I'll say, this is this. So by the time he now said that, he was just telling me jokingly that now you are competing with finance, the way you bring data, you bring cases to, because I don't want to talk. And let everybody see it and say, okay, go left when I'm saying you should go, when the data is telling us to go to the right. So it helps HR professionals to create business case for HR intervention. It can be used for effective retention strategies. When you look at the areas that, okay, when you do engagement and you look at, okay, this is the people are talking about, you see a pattern. And if you address it, people will stay. But if you see the pattern, you ignore.
No, my hair.
Can you take care of that, please? Can somebody help me take care of that? When you see that, you see the direction, you ignore. People, after they, even let's forget about each other, in business, people will tell you that the people that 90% will go away without telling you anything, when they have issues with your product or service. But the 10% so when you see anybody that complains, they are the one that they want to stay. So when people are giving feedback through maybe anonymous survey and you're not attending to it, then you have left them, you give them no choice than to leave you. So it can be used for effective retention strategies to make the best use of your data. It can be used to enhance recruitment process. And earlier I talked about ATS. So these are what we can do. Now, I just want to us to see everything I've talked about all day. This looks like a form that I just cut that you will see that we can use to extract. Let's assume that we want to actually put what we have been saying into practice. This is like what we can do. So let's see this. Now, forget about the top where you see the name, the roles. Now, this is like a form that's for what a particular organization created just for their workforce planning. And for them the whole essence is that they want to gather data or information on data so that they will get information. Remember in our elementary data processing, data is meaningless, but information that's what is useful. So when we say data-driven information, so that means we want to extract. So they use this form to actually extract data so that they process it, they get information for their plan. Now, this first aspect, you can see that it's talking about short-term organizational goals, where we started from. Long-term organizational goals, future international challenges, future external challenges. You can see that this phase is about the strategy, it's about the strategy Sorry. So, when was I muted, please? Can you confirm? Hello?
Go ahead, it's just a few seconds.
Okay. But did you hear me on the previous slide?
Yes.
Okay, so what I just said here was that if you look at this first part, it's about the strategic objectives, plans, where they were ahead. So this has nothing to do with HR. So, and that's what we said. Workforce planning is for the first thing that we have understanding of this. And that's why this form is designed this way. Short-term organizational goal, long-term, what are the future, what are the things we see as internal challenges in the future, what are the things we see as external challenges. So all these things are itemized. Then based on that, they move. Now, does your current staffing level, I think something is missing there, actually support that? Okay, sorry, describe your current staffing level. Then does that align with your future goals? So you begin to answer it. How tenured are your employees? If you have been keeping your attrition rate, you look at, okay, or even if not attrition rate, okay, maybe you look at your employees, you have people that have spent 10 years, you have people that have spent 5 years, or the average stay period is two months. So you know how tenured are your employees. What's your recruitment strategy? How many highly skilled positions do you anticipate to be filled? You need to fill as soon. Can your organization promote within? Do you do a promotion within, or you feel that, okay, you don't have the people within, you cannot move to the next level? Do you anticipate demand increases requiring more employees? What are your current action plan short term? So describe your current organization at training level. The only sense is that, okay, they want to see that in this particular, they want to see that, okay, can they use people, internal people to bridge the next level, as it were. For example, maybe you want to move people from point A to point B internally with training. Can training, so describe that. What are your future training and development goals? Describe your current workforce gaps in skills or training. What are the highest priority gaps, blah, 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 blah. So these are ways we can actually do this. Now, for effective workforce planning, and there are 4 metrics that you must think of. That now, when I say metrics, under each four that I mentioned here, there are a lot of things under it. So I'm just saying that I say this metrics I'm talking about is a form of categorization. So now, financial metrics. As something as minute as profit is a financial metric. The cost, maybe cost per hire, is a financial metric. Revenue versus target is a financial metric. If you want to say, okay, cost per employee, maybe you are doing that. I don't know whether you do that on a monthly basis. You want to, okay, what's your cost per employee in January? What's your cost per employee in February? What's your cost across the year? And then you now maybe you put a graph beside this. Okay, what's the income on month B, or let's say net profit point, and look at it vis-a-vis cost per employee. Is it growing? Is it coming down? So there are financial metrics you can measure that to let you know that, okay, if my workforce planning is effective, okay, or is efficient. So these are costs you can measure. You can even, then under customer metrics, you can look at what's your customer acquisition cost. For you as HR, when you acquire staff, they are your customer. Customer lifetime value. That's for HR. Your employees are your customer. What's their lifetime value? What's the lifetime value for every employee? That for your average lifetime value of employee in your organization or in a particular department. These are metrics that we can measure for you to know that, okay, my workforce planning is effective or is efficient. Process. Within the organization, since we bring in a particular employee to a particular department, the percentage of defects, is it increasing or is it decreasing? Complaint resolution, maybe, okay, you have brought in somebody who is a customer service person. Are the complaints being resolved, or the complaint remains as status quo, or they are even increasing? So there are metrics all over that we can measure. And there are people metrics: employee turnover, employee engagement, net promoter score, internal promotion versus external hire. Do you promote people within, or you just bring people out? So these are what we can always measure to know that, okay, our workforce plan is effective or not. Now, when you're using the data to make it, you must know your purpose. Somebody said the purpose of the thing is not normal. Abuse is inevitable. The data, when you are the verge, you are collecting data, you must understand what you want to do with the data. Otherwise, if you don't understand what you want to do with the data, you might collect the wrong data, or you might even, your analysis will be wrong. So know the purpose why you are getting the data. And that's why you will be very, how will I put it now? You'll be very cautious in getting your data. Okay. Now find data sources. Within the organization, within what we do as HR, there are a lot of data. I just showed you something that, in all sincerity, let me be sincere, in all sincerity, the data that I said I looked at this week, that I said, no, something must be done. That data, I have been working for that. I've been using that data for, like, don't let me exaggerate. I've used like 3 months earlier. Okay. But just this particular time, I said no. And I was able to extract something from the data. So there are data sources around us that we can use to actually guide what we are doing, to guide our workforce. And in this instance, we're talking about to guide our workforce plan. So when you get the data, one thing is for you to have the data, but how to organize the data. And in organizing data, you must know how you want to actually clean the data, because at times data might require cleaning so that you can get the best, you could get the right result. Because there are some data that can be a bit thwarted, and you feel, okay, this one, it will cause what we call distortion in data. So you might remove it, maybe, okay, particular month, the data is incomplete, and you want to, so just take it out if you know you cannot, and so that you clean it. So organize your data before you analyze it. And when you analyze your data, then you can now draw conclusion, make informed decisions with data. And you will now use it to make your plan. So, in a nutshell, this is what I'm going to wrap here. Sorry, I have to list ago. But what we're saying today is that workforce planning and data analysis, they're like Siamese twins. Because in workforce planning, you need to analyze where your organization is headed, and then you look at your supply analysis, your current workforce, vis-a-vis what you will expect to see in terms of workforce regarding what you have seen the organization is going. Then you bridge the gap. Thank you very much. Now, so I will take questions. Hello, did you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So at this point in time, this is where I will call it a wrap, and I would like to get questions. Sorry, learning did not take place. Hello. So is anybody picking question from I think there are questions in the chat. Hello, Chama, are you there? Okay, let me see if I can see the question myself. I'm trying to see if there are questions in the chat. Oh, sorry, I'm seeing some people saying, oh, sorry.
There is a question
What's the
on
question?
the chat box.
Please,
Temitope
can you read it?
Ayobami.
Yes.
asked that, please, how do we protect our data?
How do you protect your data? Okay. Now, for data protection, I think as an organization, you must have a policy on data protection. That's the critical thing, because at our organizational level, the critical is to have a data protection policy. I've worked somewhere before that, as we say something like, no media in, no media out. That's a slogan. And what that means is that as simple as flash drive, you cannot bring in the flash system. If peradventure you'll be queried. So no media in, no media out. I'm not saying that's what you should adopt. I'm just saying that. But the critical thing is that for you must have a policy around it. So, and then whatever the organization agree, that's what will determine how to protect data. And I also know some places that you can even bring your flash in, you can bring everything, it will not work on the system. There are some places that you cannot copy anything. When you will not be able to copy. I've also worked somewhere that the system are partitioned, such that, okay, if you want to, this is the area, a partition is in that, let me, okay, because of some layman, that it's like when we have users account on a computer, that you can sign in here, you can sign in, so that except you sign it to another, you will not be able to copy some things. So having said that, the way you can is by having a data protection policy, and then whatever the policy says will guide you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I'm trying to check if you have other questions. This is Chioma speaking.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I have some glitch with my network. Thank you, Mr. Lanre. That was really quite impactful. I'm sure that a lot of us have written down so many things that we have learned from this session. So just a few highlights from your session. You started by telling us about our strategic planning and goals as to align with what the management's goals and objective is. Yes, and it's something that every organization have to adopt. So I don't know, while I'm just having a recap of his session, I would like everyone to kindly share our questions if we have any for him, so we could take them from the chat box. Yes, so that we could align the teachings and the impact with what we want to do.
Thank you. There's a question from Agbola David from YouTube. He said, what's the most effective software to use for analytics? Or rather, aside using a third-party software, what will you suggest? Well, as David, I'm not, what's the right word now? I'm not an advocate for any software, I have to be sincere. Not because I've not used so many, I've used so many, but the truth is that there are so many softwares that you can use, depending on what you want, depending on your taste, and depending on your pocket, what you can afford, and even some. So the best is that look what will meet your need. They are diverse. Okay, the reason I don't want to mention any name because I don't want to be like I'm sponsoring a particular one. But as simple as our common MS Excel spreadsheet, you can do some fantastic with it. Let me just mention one because that one is generic, but they are all over. They can. If peradventure you use someone, they are not giving value for you can change. They are a diverse one. If there are programmers within the country that would help you design things, a lot of amazing things. Okay. Okay, someone's okay, please go ahead. You want to speak, you want to throw more light on data privacy. Please go ahead, please. I would like that contribution. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So quickly, let me just throw a little light on data privacy. Now, our work mode right now is hybrid. And we have a situation whereby we, as an organization, we are really finding it difficult tracing or having visibility over the organization's data, right? So for you to have visibility over your data, because we have a situation, like I said, where the work mode is changing and people are bringing in their own devices. That is, they are accessing the company's data through their individual devices. So And no matter how much or no matter the policy that you put in place that will help you, or rather that will prevent people from taking the company's data away, is becoming very, very difficult as well. Let me give an instance. Most organizations have this policy where they prevent the use of disk, right, to copy. But what about a situation whereby an employee opens his Google Drive, right, on his or her laptop, and uploads your your file or your data to his personal drive? How do you prevent that? That is one area. So for organizations to really keep track of their data, right, you have to deploy several applications, several applications to be able to do that. Now, in coming up with a policy, right, because it's becoming very, very difficult, Microsoft recently launched a product which they call Microsoft Purview. Now, this product helps organizations, irrespective of the size, have visibility over their data estate. Wherever those data are being accessed, whether on your personal device, whether through the company's laptop, anywhere the data is resident, you as an organization will have visibility over this data. Then you can actually set policies. The policy that you will set will be that, okay, because you are going to categorize your data, you make certain data, you classify them. Those data that are highly sensitive, right? Once the policy is set, once those data are accessed, you get an alert on your dashboard that this person is accessing this data that you've classified sensitive. So it's now left for you to now start asking questions, why are you accessing this data that is supposed to be sensitive? So, like we said, technology is evolving. As technology is evolving, several products are also coming up. Like I just mentioned, Microsoft Purview gives visibility to organizations that wherever your data estate resides, it gives you visibility over it, and you are able to ensure compliance and also protect the company's data. Thank you.
Thank you so much, IG. When an IT guru come HR speak, you have a better understanding. He has said it all. So I think that's well understood. So you have to use some this software we call it now, so actually tackle that as well. Thank you. Okay, so are there other questions? Thank you very much, everyone. I'm seeing some encouragement. From YouTube, thank you for your comments. Bukola, is it Okonkwo? I don't know. Bukola Shitters, thank you for your, I see that comment. Yes. Okay. So I'm just trying to see if there is any other question, or is it that learning has not taken place? Has learning not taking place? Hello, everyone.
Hello, Larry. We have been impacted today. Yes, learning has actually occurred. I'm sure most of us have penned down so many things we've learned from this session. It's quite an impactful one. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I would want to assume that we do not have further questions for this session. But while we are waiting to see within the next minute if we have any other question for Mr. Lanre, I would like to get our attention to everyone to kindly check.
I just saw a question and someone said that can workforce planning be useful in succession planning or something like that? Okay, so can workforce planning help in succession planning? Definitely. Remember we said now when you look at your data and you discover that, I'm just as an example now, and you see that, okay, in your demographic data now, you see that you have an aging population, as it were. Or you look at your data and you see that, okay, the stay life, so you understand the employee, what do I call it now? What's the right analysis for the right word now for the length of a service of employee within your organization is X. And so when you look at this data, you don't just let the data, they're not sitting there. So you analyze it, and that's why I said that they are data when they are sitting there. But when you put them to use, you make information from them. So, okay, if on this particular row, the number of years that people sit there is 3 years. And so the moment you have somebody who come here from year one, you must actually have a plan. As an example, I was working somewhere when I was construction, and there was this particular position that it was difficult for us to fill because we need some experience. But we have some people at intermediate level. And I proposed that, okay, based on can we bring in what we call it now, NYC people to understudy this intermediate, and let's actually do a facilitation for these people to put. And after I've left the organization, this is what I'm driving on. Because of that system of analyzing the data and its work, I learned that they didn't even just wait, they are just reinventing, they just sync the process. That okay, as they move, they bring in copper, they move, they bring in copper. So you must, it's critical when you use your data, when you plan your workforce, you use for succession planning. It's no doubt. Thank you. It's not negotiable. It's not negotiable. Okay. All right, Bio, you said, okay, Bio said she would like to say something regarding data protection. Please go ahead, Bio. Hello, Bio, can you hear me? Hello? Bio, please, you have the floor, please.
I think she needs to be unmuted. Everyone is muted.
Okay. Can we try to, let me see if you can. Ask her to unmute.
Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Okay, good evening.
Okay, so Larry, that was a very, very beautiful session. Really insightful, lots of takeaways. So I know there was a question on the data protection. Someone was asking how would they protect their data? And I think it's really important for us as HR practitioners to actually understand the NDPR and the GDPR rule. You know, now NITDA, they came up with it 2019, but I think they started enforcing last year, 2023. And most organizations are now being compliant. And for us as HR, we collect people's data right from CV collection to all the forms that we give out when we are trying to profile candidates for interviews or at the point when they are coming in. So now nobody needs to even teach us or tell us the danger hearing in collecting people's data and how we need to safeguard it. Because it's even very critical now. You can, maybe a candidate applies to your organization and something is out there, the candidate can actually come and say it is the organization that released the data. Anything can happen now. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to be mindful, and also as HR, help our organization in safeguarding themselves. Because I know what is being done in my organization now is yes, we have a unit in charge of that now. We have to create a unit. It's under the risk department. So every form that is being filled by everyone, there's a caveat. Yeah. There's a caveat there that you are consenting to this information. So you can't come back and say you had to drop your information under duress, and now they are taking, and look at, even during these meetings, for some meetings, you have to let people know they are being recorded, and some go as far as seeking your consent, that for you to have accepted and to remain in this meeting, you have consented to the fact that your data is being collected. So we need to be very, very careful. We're protecting our data, but now, even as an organization, we have to go all the way now, do everything we need to do to ensure that we safeguard the integrity of the organization, because the what's the word now? The penalties are very stiff. And we have the NDPR, we have the GDPR. So even if it is outside Nigeria, you're still not you're not free from it. So that's why all these things. So we need to familiarize ourselves with the policies. And if we need to get a consultant, yes, if we need to go for trainings so we can safeguard ourselves and also know how to manage data that we receive, even as HR practitioners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As Bill was saying it, I remember something I just need to say. Do you know that as simple as if you call me, say, oh, do you need somebody's number? I have to ensure, say, let me get the consent of the person to actually release the number. As simple as that. So we must, thank you very much for bringing that one in. In fact, it's something expedient that we must be aware of as HR professionals, because very soon you'll be seeing legal issues left, right, and center regarding this thing. Thank you. So over to you, moderator.
Thank you, Larry, for that awesome session. Thank you so much. So should we have any other question for you? I'll definitely get your attention. I would like everyone to kindly check the chat box to click on the link that has been shared so they could submit their information for attending this session. It's very, very key. The attendance is taken for everyone that attends this session. Yes, Larry has said so much about data protection, about management planning, aligning with our strategic goals and objective. As HR professionals, in addition to what Bio just said, we should be the one that should strategically align this information for our organizations to be aware of it. Many organizations do not practice this, right? So it is only advisable that we have trainings that are set up for units for them to actually ensure that they implement the data protection policy in their daily activities. Because yes, like Larry has said, we have various data, mostly HR data, that we are supposed to be using every day, every week, every month, every year. And then if there's a third party that is involved and then there's a breach in these contracts and maybe a leak in the information, I mean, nobody wants to go through that route. So at this point, I've checked the chat box. I'm not seeing any other questions. So I will also like to remind us that we click on the link so we take the attendance for this session. Just a recap of what you have said. You've taken us through the various stages, the steps for workforce planning, what workforce planning is about, the implementation of this workforce planning, data analytics, different types of data that HR uses, the demographics, pay and benefit, the importance of HR analysis. I mean, it's so wide, it's broad, but we've been able to pen down so much. A very big thank you. I'm sorry, I'm not able to turn on my video right now because the network has not been very friendly. A very big thank you to you, Mr. Larry, for this impactful session. It's been an awesome time with you here. Yes, I would like to call on Oluwatoyin Akakbo, our Secretary General. She has